Patience can do an awful lot of good for a race car driver, but it's one of those things that's really hard to keep if that driver is waiting to race. Brandon Bosma tortured himself that way a few years back, but based on how things are going now, he probably wouldn't change a thing. More on his unique path to 305 contention in this week's Driver Spotlight. Brandon Bosma wasn't always fender-free. The Rock Rapids, Iowa native actually got his start in a hobby stock.
Raced that for 4 or 5 years. A good friend of mine, his dad owned the prestigious Mighty Mouse sprint car that ran around Huset's for years, Dalton Johnson. And I just came to Huset's one weekend and I just decided let's get a sprint car. So it's probably 10 years ago or so I probably bought a sprint car.
Bosma admits that purchase was one he could not actually afford, and his racing slowed way down because of it. It was a real-life cart then horse kind of deal.
That would be an absolute understatement. We'd run here or there 3 or 4 times a year was all, and then just couldn't afford to do it. And 2 or 3 years ago we really got going good, got a good job and be able to financially do it.
As he waited for that day to arrive, Bosma spent a lot of time helping other teams. It didn't exactly scratch the itch, but it was definitely educational.
Everybody's got a little bit different way of doing things. So you see ways of doing things that, hey, maybe I could try that on my stuff and you know, or, you know, as you're helping, hey, let's try this, you know, it worked on my stuff and it might not work for them, but that's the nicest thing is you get to try different things then.
Bosma took a lot of mental notes during that time, lessons that have clearly strengthened his own team. The 23 car came home second to Dusty Ballinger in last year's 305 standings, and is right back in the thick of that race this summer.
I think there was a lot of people that, you know, you're never going to do it, you're never going to get there, and yeah, when you don't have the equipment, you know, you start to wonder, okay, maybe I don't have it, maybe I don't, and then, you know, you start getting a little success and your confidence, you know, starts, I guess, broadening. I mean, I feel like now I go to the racetrack, I feel like I'm the car to beat, and without that mentality, it's, you know, it's a struggle to out there and win. We're one of the most consistent teams in the Midwest right now. You know, last year it wasn't very often we were outside top 5. This year's been the same way. We've had some misfortune here this year as of late, you know, and it's just racing stuff. You know, a lot of times it happens, but you know, we want to go out there and we're focused on winning every single night that we hit that racetrack.
Now, while he owns a class best 3 wins on the season, Bosma currently sits third behind Jacob Hughes and Lee Goose Jr. in those 305 standings.